Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Yinka and on here I share strategies, I share disciplines, principles to help you to start to think critically, to grow in knowledge, and to live a life guided by wisdom. I also share strategies to help you become a better and confident writer. All of that combined together will ultimately help you to excel in all areas of life. All right, so today I am sharing on a topic that's very near and dear to me. I'm going to be talking about excellence. You may or may not know, but I am an excellence strategist and coach, in addition to the academic enrichment services and youth empowerment services that I provide. And why is excellence key? Why do I think it's so important? Well, for many, many reasons. First, let's start with the definition of excellence. Excellence to me is simply doing the very best with what you have right now as you strive and work towards getting more. And what does that look like? All right, so maybe you have this dream job, you have this dream role, and so you're maybe currently in school right now, and due to your schedule, you're currently working as a janitor, or you're working in McDonald's, or whatever role that your hand finds at this point in time. But keep in mind, you're striving and working towards the big goal of maybe becoming a senior engineer, a medical doctor, a neurosurgeon, whatever it is that your goal is, or you see as your pinnacle of success. All right. Excellence is just being the very best employee now. Not when you become the chief neurosurgeon. No. Excellence is doing the very best. Being the best employee in your current role now. Why is that? Why is that key? I'm sure you've heard this said before. Excellence is a lifestyle. It's a habit. How we do one thing is how we do everything. You don't just become a great CEO. You don't just become a super successful surgeon overnight or when you finally achieve that role. No, it stems from the disciplines and the habits that you adopt now. And that's why it's important to be your very best in whatever role. There's dignity in work. Legitimate roles, irrespective of how low or you think that role is, there is dignity in work. So, as a janitor, excellence is going the extra mile. Excellence is showing up to work with a fantastic attitude. Excellence is just being the very best. Being out of the 100 janitors that work in the school, because you've chosen to be and operate in excellence, you're distinguished from the rest of them because the spirit of excellence that is upon you. How the scriptures put it. In the story of Daniel, it says Daniel was distinguished among the governors. It was a senior official. I guess we'll say among the senior officials because of the spirit of excellence that was upon him. See, Daniel was actually, he was exiled. He was an exile in a foreign land, and he very fortunately attained a very senior position. But it was still, even with all of that, he was still distinguished from the rest of the other senior officials because he operated in excellence. And you might think, well, how is this going to help me? Okay, so yes, I hear you. I'll tell you this. Excellence pays great dividends. I'll say that again. Excellence pays great, lofty dividends. You have to understand this. This world that we live in is governed by principles. There are principles that govern how everything operates on this planet. And one of those principles is actually the principle of excellence, basically. So as you intentionally and deliberately choose to live a life of excellence, you're sowing seeds. Unknown to you, you are sowing great seeds. And you're going to reap the reward of the harvest. You're going to reap the reward or see the harvest in the very near future. So you choosing to work in excellence, it doesn't, it's not because, it's the cool thing to do. No, because you're sowing some great seeds towards your future. It's a principle, we reap what we sow. How do you expect to be a fantastic surgeon or a fantastic leader when you can't even, right now you despise the small beginnings, the humble beginnings, it's causing you to have a chip on your shoulder, to have a not so great attitude. No, a person of excellence is very focused. Yes, this is the goal that I'm working towards. But while I'm here, I'm going to do my best. And you just never know. You never know who's watching you to be a blessing to you. Have another example from the scripture. And this is David. I'm sure you're probably familiar with King David. He later became a king. He wasn't a king from birth. But you know, David was the youngest of 8 brothers, I believe. And because he was the youngest, it was also the shepherd of the family. And I don't know if you've actually ever seen a shepherd, but he was the one that he took care of the family's flock of sheep. So it was smelly, always covered in dirt and all of that. But he did his job well. He did it with excellence. And you know, when he had downtime, he wrote some of the Psalms that we all know now. He learned to play the harp, and it made great use of time, you know, even as a lowly shepherd. And I'll tell you what happened. So the king of the region where he lived was looking for a reliable young man to come work under him. The person had to be well versed in playing the harp. And you know something? Even before the words came out completely out of the king's mouth, one of the king's senior officials said to him, I have the perfect young man for you. I know of this young man. His name is David. And he went down his resume. You know, I strongly believe that David did not know the man personally, and maybe he did. But I think the official, unknown to David, had probably studied him. He probably watched him in his going out and in his coming in. He saw how he took great care of his father's flock of sheep. He saw how he carried himself and did his work, even the lowly work that he had then as a shepherd, how he did it with such poise and how he did it with excellence. So the official, he had no qualms whatsoever in recommending and referring David to the king. So this is my question to you. Who's watching you? Who's watching you? How are you doing your job? If they had to make a recommendation or give a recommendation or a referral, would it be a great recommendation or would it be a horrible one? Imagine David, you know, because I forgot to mention this part. His brothers, because he was the youngest, his older brothers, some of them were very senior officials in the king's army. So they had the prestigious roles. Back in ancient times, you know, being a senior official in the king's army, that's, you know, highly sought after role. That's a highly prestigious role. And so several of his brothers were officers in the king's army. And then he was, you know, being the youngest, he was left with watching the flock of sheep. But imagine if he had developed a chip on his shoulder, the official would never have recommended him to the king. David did end up serving the king. And you know what happened ultimately? He ultimately became the king of Israel. Not just that, he became one of the greatest kings of all time. Why? Because he proposed in his heart. He deliberately adopted a spirit of excellence from when he was a nobody. And that helped him. Those habits, those skills, the disciplines that he adopted when he was a nobody helped him to become a fantastic king, one of the greatest kings of all time. So, excellence pays great dividends. This is my admonition to you today. Choose to walk in excellence and choose to live a life of excellence. And intentionally, you know, start to apply excellence, the principle of excellence to all areas of your life, your finances, even your thought life, you know, all areas of your life. And just being the very best with whatever resources that you have at your disposal right now as you work for more. Your finances, choose to be a great steward of your finances now, irrespective of how little you have. You know something, if you're faithful with little, remember what I said about principle at the onset, you will be blessed with more. If you're faithful with little, you'll be trusted with more. It's a principle. Principles are there. They govern our world and they cannot be broken. So you just watch it. So that's my encouragement, my admonition to you. Choose to live a life of excellence. Choose to walk in excellence. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.